Otters are amazing, versatile, incredible, intelligent hunters. One of my favorite ones we're gonna go see later on, but today we're seeing one that's only found at sea. Let's go check it out. What's going on, you guys? It's your boy Jungle Jordan, back with a special episode of A to Zoo. Today is the letter O for otters. I am very excited to see today's animal because they are such a unique species. We have to go inside to check them out though. You ready? Let's go. All right, you guys, we are here with Keeper Sheriden here at the Point Defiance Zoo to tell us a little bit about the sea otters. So again, I just said who you are. Who are you? I'm sorry, I just said it.
I'm Sheriden Ploof, the Assistant Curator of the Rocky Shores Tundra area. So these are southern sea otters, so you find them off the coast of California, and they're going to be a little bit smaller than your northern sea otters where you find them up in Washington here and around Alaska. So southern sea otters, the females typically stay around 40 to 50 pounds, and the males can get up to about 70 pounds. If you're looking at a northern sea otter, the males are going to reach about 100 pounds and the females are going to reach probably that 60 to 70 pound mark.
We'll talk about a difference right there between river otters. That river otters get nowhere near.
They're not that big. Bigger river otters.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
They always look so full though. They look so full.
Well, because they eat a lot.
Oh.
They have to, right? So, okay. Also, I wanted to talk a little bit of random thing I saw online was about the way their skeletal structure is. Mm-hmm. It's basically meant for them to lay on their backs in the water.
Yeah, they're just designed to have a little table on them. They not only use it, you can see them using it as a table for food, but they'll put rocks on it or shells and they'll just break apart their food that way. But they'll also hold pups on it, and it's just a nice, it's a nice little platform for them. It's perfectly designed for them.
Can you tell us a little bit about who these two are in front of us?
Yeah, so we have Libby and Mia, and Libby's going to be your smaller one. Mia's going to be the one with the little spot on her nose. And they were both rescued otters from the Monterey Bay Aquarium. Libby came in when she was just about not a year old. She was just about a day old when she was abandoned. And so she went through the surrogate program and eventually ended up here when she was 6 months old. And then Mia came into the program a couple of times, and it was ultimately decided that she was too much into humans to be re-released, so she came to find a home here. I think both do really well here. I would say Libby is more of a short fused kind of otter, but super fun to work with. Yeah, you have to be really patient to work with sea otters because they're like little kids. They have an attention span that's about this big, but they're really, really smart and intelligent. So you want to make sure you're keeping them busy all the time, or else they will unscrew the screws on your windows or mess up your drains or get into a little bit of trouble. So we try and keep them nice and busy here with training and enrichment and that sort of thing.
So when we first walked up, speaking of training and enrichment, when we first walked up, I did see you guys were doing a little bit of work with the otters. So what does that entail? What does that mean? Yeah,
so that just means we're in charge of their health care. So we want to make sure we're taking the best care possible of them. So our training looks like anything that they would need for us to take better care of them. So during that session, we were working on, we have a drug called ivermectin that we have to give them every 3 weeks, and it just goes into their nostrils and it helps prevent nasal mites. We can do that voluntarily, and we're working really hard on getting them trained for injections. So you might have seen that with Libby. Steph has been working really great with Libby on getting her to sit on a mat so we can voluntarily get an injection on her. Mia is not quite that far along, but we're working on it. So that's the plan.
So sea otters, I've worked with otters before, but river otters. They happen to be my favorite otter. No offense. Don't tell them that. But they're a little different, I've noticed. Like, what's the temperament? Like, what's it like working with a river otter versus working with a sea otter?
Well, you'll have to tell me and fill in the river otter side because I haven't actually worked with river otters. I've only worked with sea otters for the last 10 years. And mostly, the biggest difference is we do a lot of water work with them as far as a lot of our training is in the water. They're more comfortable in the water. They have those back feet that are just flippers, so they're super awkward on land. So the sessions that I've seen with river otters, they look a little more calm and assertive on land, and these guys are a little bit different in that way.
A little goofy.
Yeah.
They seem like a lot of fun.
Yeah.
You mentioned earlier, somebody, Libby, you said, was it Libby that was a little?
I think Libby's a little short fused. She's not always the most patient otter. She wants to know the answer right now, and sometimes she can get a little impatient.
So I feel like that might be just an otter trait in general.
I think you could be right.
I think they all have this like they're willing to work, but then attention spans, like, I'm gone. Okay, you're taking too long. I'm leaving. Yeah. That's kind of how it is with river otters. With these guys, when you're working with them, it seemed like they were just right in front of you the whole time.
Yeah.
That's pretty awesome. It seems like there has to be a connection made, a bond made. What is that bond like? What is it like working with the sea otters?
That bond, it's sometimes it's hard to get depending on your animal, and I will say they definitely make me work for that bond. So when you get it, it's that much more rewarding. They work really great for some of our other trainers, and it's just really interesting how they pick and choose who they get along with. It's just like humans. We don't always get along with everybody, and the otters and every other animal are the exact same way. But when you have that bonding, you have to do something really scary, but they trust you to get them through it. That's definitely probably the best part of the job.
Well, Sheriden, thank you so much for your time today. I really appreciate it, and hanging out with us with the sea otters. Thank you.
Thank you for having me.
Okay, you guys, so that was meeting Sheriden and the sea otters at the Point Defiance Zoo. Now we have to go on to another special place where my favorite otter lives, River Otters. Let's go. All right, you guys, we are here at NorthwestTrek Wildlife Park with Keeper Wendi. I'm so excited to see you. I used to work with Wendi here, you guys, many, many years ago.
Such a fun homecoming. I love it.
Yes. So what are we here today? What are we doing? What do you do here?
So I'm a zookeeper, and one of my favorite things to do is to take care of the otters.
Awesome.
The otters, everything is a party for the otters, and they are just pure joy to work with.
So what are we doing right here, right now?
So I have some otter candy, which is fish. And so we have some capelin, we have some herring, and we have some smelt. And we typically feed them kind of in the middle of the day fish. They've already been fed once today, and then they'll get fed another 2 times before the end of our day.
Wow.
So they eat a lot because they have such high energy, and they're swimming in cold water, so they need fuel. And I think they're ready.
And I think they're ready for the snack. So let's go ahead and toss them in there. Look how fast they go for it.
Ready to rock and roll.
So these are 2 girls here.
Yeah, these are our sisters. This is Blakely and Oakley.
We're feeding them. I see there's a little ball floating in there. Is that some form of enrichment? What is that?
So we're always, like I said, everything's a party, and we want to keep them as occupied as possible, because when we don't, we have trouble. We don't want trouble. We want them to have a really good time and be mentally engaged and mentally healthy. So that's actually called a bamboo ball. It floats. And sometimes we'll put dry cat food in there. Sometimes we'll put their fruits and vegetables in there. Sometimes fish. And they also have another feeder.
Little
You'll see it kind of
feeder.
hanging there.
Yeah.
And it kind of looks like a T-shaped piece of PVC.
Yeah.
We'll shove the small fish in there, and they have to move it around and blow and get the water to get the fish out.
Awesome.
It's a lot of fun.
So they're pretty intelligent. What would you say their personalities are like?
Well, I would say Blakely is a lot braver than Oakley. In fact, I have a funny story. So we had this grand plan for this great enrichment. We got this kiddie pool and we filled it full of ice. And we thought they were gonna rub in it and play in it and have a great time. They were scared to death of it.
That's still enriching.
It was enriching,
It's
but
enriching.
it wasn't quite what we intended. But eventually Blakely finally went into it, and Oakley was just watching from a distance and, okay, sister, you go first. So it's fun to get to know. Actually, that's one of the coolest things about being keeper, is just getting to know the fun little personalities.
So yeah, when I was working here, these girls just arrived, on my last few days. So I didn't really get to work with them, so I didn't get to learn their personalities. But I know that they looked very different than they do now.
Yeah, it's really hard to tell them apart at this point.
Why do you like these girls so much? What about them shines to you?
It's just they're always so excited for everything. And it's just really fun. So excited for the enrichment, excited for their food, excited for training. We actually have some really cool training we're doing with them, where they go into a special tube kind of in their back bedroom, and they hold still for an injection.
Wow.
And we've been able to do that whenever we need to do a vet exam. And they held still and just kind of basically they participated in their own healthcare.
Right.
And it was a nice thing.
They're
to see.
helping themselves with their own
Exactly.
healthcare.
It was great.
That's what you love to see.
Absolutely.
Wendi, thank you so much for your time with Oakley and Blakely. I'm so happy to be here and see you again.
I know, it's so fun. It's fun to share them. They're a blast.
Awesome. So you got some big
Big old last fish to yum on. There we go, ladies.
Go get it.
Silly.
All right, you guys, that was Otters for Ada Zoo. That was so exciting. I had so much fun at NorthwestTrek and at Point Defiance Zoo Aquarium. Let me know what you want to see for the letter P. That comes after O. LMNOP. P. I tell you, until next time, it's your boy Jungle Jordan. I'm out. I can't.